And may I invite on stage our distinguished chair and moderator for the session, Dr. S.N. Gupta, Chairman of the Board, Blue Town. And inviting our eminent keynote speaker for the session, we invite Mr. Manoj Tandon, Director Project Operations and Maintenance, RailTel, and Chairman, BIF's Wi-Fi Committee. A warm welcome to both our eminent dignitaries. I also invite our eminent panelists for the session, Mr. Seemab Kadri. Mr. Seemab Kadri is Director Strategic Partnerships, Wireless, Intel Corporation. Mr. Vivek Dua, General Manager Corporate Office, BSNL. Mr. Rajesh Kaul, Founder and CEO, LMES. And Mr. Sumit Garg, Managing Director, Immunity Networks and Technologies Private Limited. Sir, can you hear us? Mr. Kadri?
I can hear you guys.
Yes, sir. We can also hear you loud and clear. Thank you. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Sandeep Khaturiya, may I invite you, sir, on the panel? So, ladies and gentlemen, we are all set to go ahead with the proceedings of this panel discussion session from dead zones to data streams through public Wi-Fi. And we begin the session with a keynote address by Mr. Manoj Tandon, Director Project Operations and Maintenance, RailTel, and Chairman BIF's Wi-Fi Committee. A warm welcome to you, sir, and over to you.
Good afternoon, distinguished guests, media friends, BIF staff, and industry colleagues. The theme of this session is very exciting: dead zone to data streams. This reminds me of one शेर, हजारों ख्वाहिशें ऐसी कि हर ख्वाहिश पे दम निकले. Coming back to the topic, in the connected world where most of the digital work can be done remotely at any place with a broadband connection, that's what we have seen during COVID times. Imagine equally competent internet users having substantial difference in efficiency because of quality of broadband connection. As per the reality, one small set of population has access to real broadband connection and often is spoiled by multiple choices. But a larger set of people are not having good broadband connection. This difference is creating another form of digital divide within the community of broadband users. The PM Vani program aims to address this digital gap by increasing the access of internet connection to common masses. As we all know that fixed line connection is still 4% of total broadband users in India. Balance 96% is still being accessed by mobile users. However, this is another data point which says that fixed data point consumption is almost 10 to 12 times as compared to data traffic by subscriber on mobile broadband. And this report says also that the mobile data broadband usage is 19 to 20 GB per month, but the fixed broadband user is almost 9 times, 10 times of this data. And as per the guesstimate, the daily users of Wi-Fi, if they remain in Wi-Fi coverage zone, the consumption will be at least twice of mobile broadband data. The government and service providers are doing their best to enable faster fiber rollouts and increasing FTTH connectivity. However, heart to heart, everybody knows here that it's going to take few years before we reach a respectable teledensity of FTTH connections. And often, the rollouts in remote areas and affordability to extend the last miles to homes will remain challenge even in future time also. In such a situation, the public Wi-Fi initiative by Government of India and by other agencies involved seems to be the only solution to broadband to access to extend the access to broadband users through cost-effective and efficient internet penetration. In this session, we seek to examine, discuss, deliberate the issues around public Wi-Fi and how can we make it universal, reliable, affordable connectivity through the PM Wani initiative and other public Wi-Fi programs by various government agencies. Last but not the least is that the public Wi-Fi needs stronger and heavier push by public funding to make it sustainable. Thank you very much.
Indeed, sir. I would request Dr. S.N. Gupta to kindly do the honors of presenting a small memento to our distinguished keynote speaker, Mr. Manoj Tandon. Thank you very much indeed, sir. And Mr. Manoj Tandon has maybe leaving for some other very pressing commitment he has. So may I request for a group photograph before sir departs? Thank you very much indeed. So, ladies and gentlemen, may I now hand over to our chair and moderator of the session, Dr. S.N. Gupta, Chairman of the Board, Blue Town, to kindly give his opening remarks and carry forward the proceedings of the session. Over to you, sir.
Oh, thank you, Sapna, and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. Of course, no opening remarks are required according to me because the chairman, Mr. Tandon, who has just left, he has done that part already actually. And now you know what is the title of the session, from dead zones to data streams through public Wi-Fi. Since morning we have been discussing this, and each panel have been actually basically diverting those questions to this panel actually, the last. so our job is already cut actually, that what we have to do here with the experts in the panel, especially Mr. Vivek Dua, our friends from BSNL, General Manager, Corporate Office of BSNL Headquarter. He is in the thick of this job actually, not only just PM Wani, but how to take the connectivity to all over the world, to connect the unconnected, either through FTTH or through PM Wani, or a combination of both. And lot of answers to our questions during the day are expected from him, Vivek ji. Yeah. Then we have our other senior colleague, and especially from abroad, and I think it is midnight in US, Mr. Simam Kadri, Director Strategic Partnerships, Wireless, Intel Corporation. he is ready actually. So I will like, of course, to go with him because he is actually burning midnight oil already, and we don't want to risk the connectivity also. When we want to talk about Wi-Fi, they always use the word unreliable. In India, we used to call, when we were in regulator, it was best efforts. In India, it is also nicknamed as Bhagwan Bharose. So we don't want to go to that level, and that is why Mr. Simam Kadri, we will like to listen from you, but there are some questions already for you by all of us. So the question is, in a bandwidth hungry country like India, how can Wi-Fi provide value when it is often considered as a stopgap solution because it uses unlicensed spectrum and is often associated with lack of efficiency, reliability, and also very low speed? So your view on this. Second question is, to enable a Wi-Fi powered digital India, which is the dream of all of us, including our Prime Minister, what is your opinion are the key opportunities and challenges? What do you think the industry and the government need to do to overcome these challenges? So we'll be interested to know from your experience, or to support these questions answer, you can add whatever you want us to add. Mr. Kadri, over to you.
Thank you for the warm welcome, guys. I hope you can hear me okay.
Yes.
First, I just want to take kind of a quick moment for saying hello to everybody at Broadband India Forum. The goal was to highlight the Wi-Fi opportunities and to minimize the digital divide globally. So it is on the themes exactly what the BIF is working on, and it's really good that you guys have this effort ongoing on that side. In my role at Intel, I am part of the wireless team, and I do work really closely. I'm fortunate to have a close association with WBA and the industry players that are part of that forum. And so, big questions, a lot to unpack over there. Please, give me a kind of a few moments to go through that and unravel. But on your first question, I think worth spending a bit of time on that question about the hunger for bandwidth, right? Which is absolutely not only real, but also already it's quite enormous and it's growing fast. And we are at the tip of an iceberg. So it's expected to grow even more, right? So it's not news, but there's an ever increasing need for people and businesses to connect to each other in better and better ways. What was sufficient yesterday as voice call, and now the video collaboration is kind of a minimum. So what's going to be the baseline interaction for tomorrow? It kind of, we need to kind of help. But think maybe it is the AR VR that my friend Hiral was talking about earlier at the beginning of this conference. But it's going to happen, and we have to be ready for it. Everything today is getting digitized. Everything is online. From big businesses to small devices to the day-to-day working of the economy. And all over the globe, the connectivity has become part of a basic need, right? So you think of connectivity, and then especially the last meter of the connectivity, the expectation is that it is pretty much physically untethered. So it has to be wireless, and Wi-Fi has, even though with all the other kind of names and tags on it, but it has found its way to be alongside, pani, bijli, and chula. It's like the water, electricity, and gas, and then Wi-Fi is absolutely needed over here. At least that's what I feel. I cannot survive without it. And when you think about what's coming up next, the next generation, the world relies on the availability of some fundamental broadband and wireless access everywhere. So that we do expect the hunger to grow, more bandwidth needed, more capacity, higher density support, lower latency, more security. So all of that is all coming. So alongside that, now let's pick up on the topic of that Wi-Fi. You say, Wi-Fi is unreliable now. So Wi-Fi was first formalized back in like 1997, 98 by IEEE. That's where it started. But frankly, today's Wi-Fi is not our grandparents' Wi-Fi, right? The in-market Wi-Fi, which is Wi-Fi 6, which is at scale, is now out there for like nearly 5 years. And per the observable trend, it's about 60 to 65% of deployment. And that Wi-Fi can deliver close to a Gbps of practical throughput. And I'm not talking about like maximum theoretical, I'm talking about like practical throughput. We see that in a reasonable deployment in our labs. Like we drive a lot of PCs. PCs have a lot of our Wi-Fi connectivity. And in a reasonable configuration, that's what Wi-Fi 6 brings to the table. But in the meanwhile, we are also pushing on the next technology upgrades towards 6 gigahertz of Wi-Fi 6E, and now the latest Wi-Fi 7 that is coming out to the market, which is what we call as a multi-gig, multi-Gbps throughput, and fairly reliably, we do see that happen. And we see multi-gig pipes to the home over here, and then the multi-gig wireless technology to convey that pipe to the device is Wi-Fi 7. So there's a huge kind of global industry behind this. There's a huge set of businesses behind this technology. The momentum is only but growing on this technology. So Wi-Fi is very, very well supported. If you also look at deeper into the business aspects of Wi-Fi, the WFA, it had conducted a global economic value of Wi-Fi study, which was just a couple of years ago. And there they kind of evaluated that by 2025, the Wi-Fi is projected to have an economic value of globally of $4 trillion by 2025. And in that, the breakdown, if you were to go look at that report, India stands at, I guess, like top second or top third at about 240 billion. Right? So $240 billion is attributable to India. So there's a lot of elements that go into that, which includes one of those is the public Wi-Fi, but also residential and enterprise and IoT and industry optimizations and mobile network offloads. So it's kind of a bundle of everything, but the opportunity over there is like really big, right? So you have Wi-Fi both from a technology, from a business side, very, very promising, okay? Then comes the question about the de-licensed spectrum that you asked that, hey, does de-licensed spectrum actually make it unreliable? We would say that rather the unlicensed spectrum is one of the strengths of Wi-Fi. The avoiding of the licensing fee and complexities of licensing segment, the licensed spectrum keeps the device cost really low, the deployment cost really low, the power really low on Wi-Fi. And the Wi-Fi deployments are very complementary to the license and the mobile network. Many a time there is this discussion that, hey, are these two technologies conflicting with each other? Are they competing with each other? Should we pick one over the other? To us, they are very much interdependent, highly interdependent. The mobile traffic, about 60 to 80% of the mobile traffic today over here gets offloaded to Wi-Fi, and therefore it kind of delivers a lower cost, even like a mobile solution. And we look at Wi-Fi as a provider of densification of the network in kind of in the closed areas, whereas the mobile is the one that kind of drives the subscriber reach and manageability. So the two kind of work really closely, and this is a very important aspect that the whole kind of industry bodies take on and make sure that there is an effort behind it. So then you like think about like why is there kind of this bad name, and this is not like the first time we are hearing this, and there are areas globally there that have poor Wi-Fi, and if you were to kind of dig down inside, and I'll give like my 10,000 feet distant view over here. You guys would know more what's on the ground, but primarily what we observe is it's because of either like some poor deployment techniques, poor backhaul, limitations in spectrum, what is available, usage of old generation technology, and also in some cases there is the business models around Wi-Fi that are not very sustainable. Like Wi-Fi provides a variety of business model to prosper, and if they are not nurtured correctly, then they kind of become a hindrance to progress of establishment of Wi-Fi. So the bottom line is that for us, Wi-Fi is not like some a lay technology or it's a stopgap solution, but it rather should be looked at as a investment for the long term. You put a good backhaul behind it, you put the latest generation technology behind it, you put the best known methods behind it, and you shall get a reliable deterministic experience. You support the businesses around it, and you tap into the industry and the standards, and there's no new wheel to invent over here. A lot of different use cases have been deployed. It's just a matter of picking up the right tools and putting it to work. So that's how I think we should look at Wi-Fi. Think of it more as long term, and what can we do to use it as a long term. And talking about the views from a Wi-Fi powered digital India. Actually, I had a talk I gave back in January in WGC that happened at Delhi. We looked at this aspect more closely, so I kind of had to do a little bit of research from iMind to just understand it, and I was also visiting hometown during that time. But let me just first begin saying that we all know that India is kind of one of the most promising growth stories in the world, right? This is not news, right? We all know that. But I think it's worthwhile to kind of skin that a little bit and understand what is really driving it. And at least I can say that we're almost like as a nation, we are sitting at a trifecta of inflection points. There is the fundamental economic growth that we are measured on, and then we see that India is prospering. That's excellent. But there's also the geopolitical inflection point, which is around the Western world partnership. Right? We know that what's going on with U.S., China, and Western world and China, and then India is a great substitute to go ahead and take on that role and be a provider of a lot of products and services in that form. But also alongside, there's a big technology inflection going on, both as a combination of Industry 4.0 and Web 3.0, which includes technologies like AI and blockchain and AR/VR, and a bunch of things underneath it, the industry optimizations. All of those have dependency on connectivity and wireless. Right? So all of those are there, and certainly there are opportunities that are noticed in India. We can see that with the efforts around Digital India and PM WANI, there is effort to go and tap on those, but much effort is still needed in the right direction. India is the second largest online market, right? So great amount of population, half of it is yet to be connected, right? So done right, we should think about what this can bring to the table, not just from a demand side, but also from a supply side, right? How we can provide services and talent and culture to the world if we are able to connect all of our nation to the net, right? And the opportunities and the challenges, if you look at that, it kind of translate to some key areas for Wi-Fi that if we invest in, potentially can be helpful. Back in my talk, I outlined 4 areas I'll share with you guys for your consideration. First is around creating a good, solid infrastructure backbone, right? So we do need to count on a good backbone. I know that both programs, the Digital India and the PM WANI, talk about infrastructure as one of the key pillars. However, the current state of the network backhaul is something that needs to be improved a lot. So investments in that are absolutely needed. Now, obviously, this is not an easy problem. That's the reason why it is a challenge. It's hard to connect rural and remote areas, but we have a lot of technologies that can be utilized, and we have to use the right one over there. Sometimes it is the cable and the fiber optics, but others it is satellite. Things like Starlink can play. I think there was an example being given about a balloon-based connectivity solution, something like a Project Loon that had happened by Google. Or sometimes it could be just point-to-point wireless. Wi-Fi can play that role also to extend a reach into rural networks. But deployment is one of the key aspects, and also the way a deployment is planned is really important. it has to be planned in a kind of a mission critical manner, not like just a single point of failure, but rather have some resilience and redundancies built into it, into the design of it. Thought of increased capacity for the future should be built into it. So all of these are important aspects. Security is another area which must be taken into consideration. Cyber crimes are already on the rise. As AI is happening, we should all expect that these threats are going to grow. So we should be considering how to counter this ahead with the right tools that are put in place before such crimes increase. There is it could be like a simple thing like there's a need for just documenting some best practices, maybe coming up with some kind of cookbooks that can drive certification, that can drive an interop program, that can ensure some quality and compatibility. These kind of programs already exist in many standard world, and there isn't kind of a need to, do something new, but just follow some existing best known methods and apply them. So I think if we just tap upon some of the programs that are happening in standard bodies in WBA. Let me give an example of open roaming. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but very, very relevant to public Wi-Fi hotspots. Open roaming defines a recipe for a seamless, secure Wi-Fi based hotspot. It's passpoint based, and that can just be deployed in a manner that allows for one-time provisioning of device, and then it can connect to any open roaming Wi-Fi network. If you can adopt that technology, that'd be so much more easier for Wi-Fi to propagate. So that's like deployment is one aspect. The other aspect that I touch upon is spectrum management, very, very important. Right adoption and utilization of unlicensed spectrum is a key. It has to work alongside the licensed spectrum that I spoke about. There is the offload to Wi-Fi, but also coexistence of the two technologies, convergence of the two technologies. It has to be done in hand with the mobile operator. So having them as part of the discussions of what is going to happen on Wi-Fi world is important. There is an open discussion around 6 gigahertz spectrum in India that we all are tracking. Frankly, you guys may know that in US, the FCC opened up an additional 1200 megahertz of spectrum back in 2020, and just earlier this year they approved 7 AFC services to support that band. Okay, so now that band can be exercised even more thoroughly, and it was the ex-FCC chairman, Honorable Mr. Ajit Pai, who actually saw the vision and the need for this and was responsible for opening up this spectrum. So we are very thankful to him. And in his words, like he referred to the unlicensed spectrum as the spectrum of innovation. So think of this, right? That's the place where a lot of variety of things can happen and businesses can evolve, not only from a technology standpoint, but also from a business standpoint. So allowing for the business model innovation in that spectrum is also very important, and we have to nurture that. I think I'm hearing quite a few comments about PM Wani and it actually trying to meet its goal. Maybe some of those are related to the business model innovation.
Yeah, Mr. Kadri, very good. Lot of things you have already told, and we may need you maybe later on, but I have 1 or 2 questions which you can ponder about. We may call you back, or we'll let you sleep if you want. So basically about the Wi-Fi, and especially there is a big debate in India about the security aspect. Actually, there is a misgiving or there is a understanding in India that Wi-Fi is less secure than 5G. Actually, there is a comparison between Wi-Fi and 5G now. Earlier, it was with 3G and Wi-Fi. So the security is the only thing which have been told by the other camp, that Wi-Fi is unsecured. So that is what we will need your opinion on that. The other was in the morning, the chief guest secretary Karindikar Saab was mentioning about Wi-Fi 7, and he mentioned that it can use any spectrum. Like it does not need only 6 gigahertz. Like what happens in Wi-Fi 6E, you have to have 6 gigahertz. But he told Wi-Fi 7 means it is neutral to spectrum. So is it practically possible, like I use my existing unlicensed 5 gigahertz spectrum for Wi-Fi 7, which actually cannot be used for Wi-Fi 6E. So he was hinting that we can even skip the 6E altogether till the spectrum debate is there. And when the spectrum debate settles, then you can think of 6E, but you just leapfrog to 7, Wi-Fi 7 actually. Maybe quick 1 or 2 line answer, and then we'll come back to you later, if you have the answer.
Sure. So on the first about the security, it's just like a lock that you can put on the door. If you put a low quality lock that makes your life easy to get in and out of the door, it will be less secure, right? So the security level that we have on Wi-Fi, which is mandated for Wi-Fi 6 and up, is WPA3, which is highly secure. And the open roaming and the password that I'm mentioning is enterprise grade security of .1x. But most of the public Wi-Fi are deployed with an open password or an open Wi-Fi. And that is terrible, right? So that can easily be hacked. It's just very convenient to latch on to such a network, and therefore they take the easy path. Whereas if you think about the mobile network, they can mandate a certain level of security. I think with programs like PM1, if we are allowing for hotspots to grow, then over there also there should be a threshold of minimum security that should be set, and that should be WPA3.
Okay.
Or .1x.
Thank you. So I think unless you have some quick thing to add, so we will let you sleep actually, and thank you.
I will just add one more on the
Yes.
other question that you asked about the Wi-Fi 6E
Yes.
versus 7.
Yes, please.
Per my understanding, 6E just takes Wi-Fi 6 and translates it to 6 gigahertz, and 7 does a better job at it. It's not a difference between 6E and 7 on what spectrum it can utilize. What Wi-Fi 7 does is it allows for communication to happen on multiple spectrums at the same time. This is what Wi-Fi 6E does not allow. But in terms of spectrum availability, both 6E and 7 exercise all 3 spectrums. Okay, 6E will do one at a time. For Wi-Fi 7, this is an upcoming technology. The way we look at it, we certainly like the MLO, which is the multiple spectrum access. But it is something that we think is going to mature up as we look into the future. Okay. Today, if you are deploying something, I would say, if possible, then definitely skip over to Wi-Fi 7, because that is the technology coming out to the market, and then you are ready for the future. But at least deploy Wi-Fi 6E.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Kadri, for sparing your time, and lot of good insights you have given from 10,000 feet away kind of thing. And we are really thankful to you for sparing your time. And now you have your free time. It is up to you whether to sleep or to listen from our other experts who will be bringing more insights to the debate. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys, and feel free to reach out to me if you guys have any questions.
So now I think without wasting much time, I have to go to our friend Vivek Duaji from BSNL. Actually, lot of answers have to be given by you. Actually, people have been waiting for you. The question is, BSNL today is perhaps one of the largest government institution as regard the number of PM-WANI public hotspots. However, we are seeing stagnation in the growth of PM-WANI compliant hotspots from BSNL. What are the reasons for the same, and what can be done to overcome these challenges? And there is a linked question, and that is more important in fact. The Bharat Udyami scheme, actually BNU what they call it, launched by BSNL to spread fixed broadband is proving to be quite successful, I believe. Can PM-WANI public Wi-Fi hotspots be added to make it a powerful combination of FTTX plus Wi-Fi kindly provide some reasons in support of your answer. And anything more, Vivek bhai, you want to add?
Okay, thank you, sir. So yes, first of all, this BharatNet Udyami scheme has certainly created a very different kind of digital kranti that personally I didn't also expect to happen. But involving a local champion in creating a kranti at the rural or the village level is something which is a serious eye opener for myself also. Spending almost 20 plus years in the organization, I have been all doing my service in the urban areas. I only remember in my childhood I used to visit a village near Patiala where I belong to. But thereafter it was all my urban journey that I followed. Only after engaging myself in the Udyami scheme, I got a chance to go to at least 10 odd villages and understand the citizen psychology, the way they consume data, what do they do with the data, how do they monetize that data, and how they get themselves entertained with that data. So there are so many things that people in the village do with the data which you and me sitting here cannot even imagine. They make reels, they do songs and dance and everything, put it on Insta and do the monetization. I never thought a person in the village is having that understanding of monetization comparing to somebody sitting in a city or a town. So things have entirely changed ever since the Udyamis have got involved in bringing this digital revolution in the country. Today, as we talk, we are already 50,000 plus Gram Panchayat connected on the BharatNet program. And certainly we'll reach all 2,72,000 Gram Panchayat in the country, the way we are seeing the engagement. Because this is kind of a chicken and egg story. If you don't have monetization, you can't keep up the network. All these years we have been hearing BharatNet बहुत खराब है, इसकी network की हालत खराब है, ये अच्छा नहीं होगा, all that story, right? All negative narration. Because probably somebody didn't really sit and decide that how do we monetize this network. So unless you bring business around something, it will not be a sustainable thing for long. You can always invest, put a lot of money in the capex, do all that stuff. But to make it sustainable, you have to have a sound business ecosystem around it. So if you have a village level entrepreneur called the BharatNet Udyami today, who is able to earn 20 odd thousands by serving 100 odd customers in that geography, it becomes a sustainable business. And secondly, what it does is, on the network side, if something goes wrong, that means a fiber gets cut or something other goes wrong, he himself gets engaged in fixing that problem and not wait for a big contractor to land from a city or a town and then fix the problem. So you start owning the network. When you have somebody rented your house to somebody and they start living in there, a lot of small problems, they start addressing themselves. They'll not reach out to the owner to say that today you fix this small problem in my house, then only I'll keep living here. They'll own that place for the small problems that they see. And most of the times, the network problems aren't that big that the local champion cannot address. So once the BharatNet as a whole starts getting owned by the BharatNet Udyamis, you will see more and more people getting latched to the network, start bringing the business benefits, the e-governance benefits that the government is seeing over there. We have shot a lot of videos to appreciate those things that in the village where the ration distribution also today is Aadhaar based, and you have excellent kits brought out by the PDS network for the authentication that the right beneficiary is getting the ration, the rice or everything. With the data reaching there, all of this is becoming more secure and reliable. Earlier used to have all paper records and a lot of things not desired were happening. So village people have started seeing that the strength of economy is improving, their own person is involved. And I tell you now, the Gram Panchayat as an institution has become BharatNet Udyami. Can you believe that? Because Gram Panchayats also needs funds for their sustenance or development activities they carry out. Some of them really saw that this an individual who is working as an Udyami has started earning 30 odd thousand in the village. Why we as a panchayat are not doing? So I have visited couple of Gram Panchayat, particularly Chimalgari is one classic example which I visited few months back in Telangana. It is hardly 100 odd kilometers from Hyderabad, so it was easy for me to reach that place. That whole village is completely digitized, 200 odd houses, by that Gram Panchayat itself, the institution. The secretary Gram Panchayat is our BNU. They have put an excellent facility to house our OLT and then all that GPON equipment which needs to be put into the network. So they own that. And every house is, out of 200 odd houses, I remember 72 plus were on FTTH. And few I visited, they have smart TVs inside. And children or elders were enjoying the OTTs also. So the entire ecosystem in the village looked better than what I see in the city, because the place is much cleaner, the greener. Every place looks very comfortable, easy to walk around. One school I visited, I was asking the teacher that how do you use this digital board to do the teaching? And believe me, a class 5th student came forward and said, "Can I explain?" I was so zapped and happy to see that this child is encouraged or feeling happy and delighted to explain how to use a digital board for the teaching purpose. He said, "Sir, for this I run this video, and when I go home, I can do the remaining part at home also." So such is the change in life which is happening by people in the village owning the digital Kranti, and definitely will make it sustainable. Just to conclude, what question was coming up is the public Wi-Fi thing supporting the FTTH, right? That's the second question that sir asked me. We did an experiment, a practical thing only with IEEE recently in Karnataka and Kerala. So they said we want to connect some 200 odd schools on digital highway, bring that broadband thing in those unconnected schools. That's their mission or program. And they wanted to partner with BSL because they read somewhere this Udyami scheme is really working. Then I checked with my Karnataka team that how many of these villages are already on your digital map or are on the connected Gram Panchayat thing. They said hardly 15 or 20 out of 200 list that was given to me. I gave the same message to IEEE. I said, you have a discussion with them. The first information I have got is hardly 15 of them are on my radar or on my digital map. Remaining may take 6 months or so to get rolled out. But you can always expedite by being there, doing discussion, setting the priorities, etc. So this gentleman, after 3 months, come back to me because I said, now thereafter, my Karnataka team and you will take over because it will be micromanagement if I get into it now. Now he came back to me 1 month back, so it is almost 3 months that passed. He said, we have done 150 plus. So from 15 to reach to 150 plus in a span of 3 months is really exceptional. And then I started asking him that how you really made it happen. He said that 15 cases that you gave us, we studied in detail that whether they are really making money, the people in that community are really happy, are they really getting served through that digital pipe or the internet in a nice manner? All that checks and validations we did at the IEEE headquarters. Then they figured out it's a genuinely sustainable model to deliver services to the citizens in the rural area. Then they asked the business challenges why the remaining are still not connected and how it can be connected. He said the nearest place which is connected was average like 2 kilometers to 3 kilometers. And we need to reach that school by laying extra fiber of 3 kilometers. And then you'll have some GPON equipment at some places, not all the places, which need to be procured by the BNU. We are coming with the next phase of BharatNet where the OLTs or the main equipment also will be procured by BSNL or by USOF. But currently the BNUs are bringing in that last mile of 4-port OLT. So this was kind of funding to 50,000 to 1 lakh, which needs to be done to do that business. They said at IEEE headquarters, we decided we'll do 70% of the funding if the local partner is ready. And we discussed with the partner that the connectivity in the school also requires the digital projector and couple of other things to be run in a healthy manner on a regular basis, for which again we need a technical person. So instead of hiring another person for running that infrastructure in the school, we asked the Udyami that you being physically present in that geography, will you take this ownership also? And we'll have some business agreement over this. So all of this said and done, they were able to have arrangement with the BNUs to connect 150 odd schools and also additionally put Wi-Fi hotspots in these geographies with the help of BNUs only. Because hotspot is another piece of hardware which is 20,000 rupees. But what it does is it enables the community with free data for, let us say, half an hour, 1 hour. And if they feel that they want to use it for more, there are very easy vouchers from available for 10 rupee going till 50 rupee or something. And if they are a very heavy consumer, then they'll go for FTTH at home also. So that way, average, they are saying 10 to 12 connections already in a span of 3 months have happened in all those places where only the school connection was decided. So this whole ecosystem becomes sustainable, viable, digitally healthy when you involve a local person in the upkeep of the network, in bringing business or doing the monetization of that network. And all of this business is done so seamlessly that the BNU never comes to know who is the person paying the money. We have created a total digital ecosystem for the payout, which is the success of the business. Every partner who latches to the system, the first question comes to my mind, how I'll get my money. And if you can give that comfort to the business partner that your money will come to you without you coming to me, then things are done. So when the customer pays the bill, the partner gets the money into his account, his or her account. That is the seamlessness of this system that we have created in the Udyami program. So this generates that business confidence required that if I am investing something, my returns are assured. There are a lot of things that I can talk about, but last closing remark, public Wi-Fi also demands a lot of sponsorship to come from the government, from the enterprises, for that ecosystem to work. Today, if you ask me about banks, SBI and other major banks, all their branches will be on Wi-Fi, and good number of projects BSNL is executing. But then the bank becomes the sponsor for the Wi-Fi, though it's public Wi-Fi for the public coming to that branch, but the Wi-Fi is sponsored by the bank. Similarly, if I talk of Gramin Kshetra or the rural area, government is becoming the primary sponsor of the Wi-Fi. Sometimes there are bottlenecks in terms of people coming to that cultural change. One of the VC, I tell you briefly, we had with Panchayati Raj Ministry and BSNL and one of the state government, I'll not name. And the quote was only 1 lakh rupee for the public Wi-Fi to be run for 1 year. And the people at the state level were questioning time and again why we should spend 1 lakh on the public Wi-Fi for 1 year. And the gentleman in the Panchayati Raj Ministry only had to bulldoze and tell them, you spend lakhs on the roads, you lakh spends on the ponds and the wells, and you are questioning 1 lakh of a spend for a digital highway coming to your village, where children will get online education, you will get all online ticket booking, you will get all your digital records for the land, etc. So many things he had to convince and finally bulldoze that we have to do it. So sometimes it happens that the top leadership is very clear, including our Honorable Prime Minister, but when it goes through the hierarchy, there are certainly stumbling blocks where the things get stuck also. So it has to be really pushed hard sometimes to see that the digital impact on the economy is well understood by all people in the chain so that the change can come at the grassroots level. So some examples I have shared just to express the delight that I have experienced in the last 1.5 years. There's so many data points that can encourage people to participate in this digital Kranti, which I can share over a longer discussion. But thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Vivek Bhai. You have really shared your real experience and what we call from a horse's mouth. You you are actually doing it and succeeded also. These are the great learning for all of us also, and maybe some of the entrepreneur here will like to make use of that. Now quickly I have to move to our third expert, Mr. Sandeep Katuria, and in the meantime, can I request the organizer to set that clock back, maybe add 10 minutes credit to this clock, otherwise it's staring at us, in fact. So now we'll go to Mr. Sandeep Katuria. He is our senior consultant of BIF, have a lot of experience on PM Vani especially. So Sandeep ji, your questions are PM Vani public Wi-Fi has yet to take up in the country, which looks wrong now as after listening from Vivek ji. Though grassroots are visible in, green shoots are visible in some parts. From a customer standpoint, since you are the voice of consumer, how important is PM Vani public Wi-Fi to push affordable and reliable broadband to the masses? Kindly provide some reasons as to why you say so, and what are the things that are coming in the way of public Wi-Fi proliferation? How can they be overcome? What do you think should be the role of industry and the government to make it succeed? So please avoid refutation. I think Vivek ji have mentioned some answers. So you tell something new.
I think the previous speakers, Vivek ji and Manoj ji, have put up all the right points. So I will be very, very brief, giving regard to the time also. So there is a proverb, we know that where there is a will, there is a way. But in the digital world, the way we are experiencing today, we can easily say and safely say that wherever there is a Wi-Fi, there is a way. Just imagine you are without Wi-Fi, you won't find a way. You can't move outside the house, you can't even move inside the house without a Wi-Fi. So that's the importance of Wi-Fi. So discussing the need of Wi-Fi, I think that is, we are much beyond that. We all accept that Wi-Fi is required. Now coming to the PM Vani, why it is required. Now PM Vani is a mode of a public Wi-Fi. So public Wi-Fi basically can be provided directly by the TSPs or ISPs or through the means of this new thing which came in 2020 is the PM Vani, which is totally democratized, which basically means that anybody can provide the service to anyone. So there I think that, today we are very lucky that we can afford Wi-Fi at our home. In our home, many devices, many family members are connected to Wi-Fi connection and not to the mobile connection. So that is also, we all know about it. But people around us are not that lucky, they may not be able to afford it. Therefore, the need of public Wi-Fi is there. So I'm just giving an example that today, if he has a public Wi-Fi at home and he is a digitally skilled person, I'm also a digitally skilled person, but I don't have public Wi-Fi access or Wi-Fi access with me, then my productivity will be not equal to his productivity. It will be much lesser. So therefore, I need Wi-Fi for the productivity purposes. Now, that can only be given to the masses, to the common man through the public Wi-Fi route, and PM Vani in that space plays a very, very important role, or can play a very, very important role. So a common man, instead of buying a monthly connection, paying a monthly rent, or paying 1,000 rupees for the connection, can get his needs met by paying a very nominal amount, say 10 rupees, 15 rupees, 20 rupees, and meet his objectives, and and can deliver same level of efficiency like the person who has got Wi-Fi at home. So therefore, that is one set of customers. And we should think about the masses, that how can masses be given Wi-Fi? So for that, the answer will be a thing like PM Vani. Secondly, even I will need a public Wi-Fi at many places in the city. Today we go to city and there are many dark spots. So therefore, we need the Wi-Fi there. We need to do transactions, we need to make the payments, we need to call the taxi. But if there is no network, then we can't use the service at all. So for the ubiquitous use of all the apps, public Wi-Fi is required. Thirdly, the PM Vani, I think, is a very visionary step taken by the government. And since it is service by the people to the people, I think the consumer's definition will also include a shopkeeper who is providing the Wi-Fi to the end customers. Now, the shopkeeper has to have a business model so that he is attracted to provide the PM money to the customers. Now, for that, if the PM money is made more enriched by making the apps richer, whereby it is not only a connectivity tool, it is also a tool whereby the shopkeeper can attract more and more customers in the vicinity of his shop, then PM money will be very, very attractive for the shopkeepers, the so-called PDOs. Unlike the public Wi-Fi provided by ISPs, where it is provided directly by the ISPs to the customers, there is no PDO involved. In case of PM money, this shopkeeper or PDO is involved. So he is also a customer in PM money, and if his business case is seen from his point of view, then I think PM money will be a success. As far as challenges are concerned, sir, very briefly I will say that one is that all of us feel the importance of public Wi-Fi. So, but what we have found in PM money is that there is less conviction from beginning in the whole thing. So, first point is that people should get together, all stakeholders, and be convinced about the thing. Today we are discussing the PM money thing more or less in silos. We think about PDOs, we call app providers, but there is also a ISP or a TSP who has to provide the backhaul. And if we all sit together, there are various business models available whereby it will be beneficial to everyone, including to the TSPs. Okay, so there is a perception that TSPs may lose revenue or ISPs may lose revenues because of PM money, which perception is totally incorrect. If there is more usage and there is a proper model which addresses to everybody's needs, how can somebody suffer a loss? So therefore, there is a need for people to get together. And the last part of your question was that what is the role of government and regulator? I think the government and regulator should, bring everybody together and try to find a way out so that all these perceptual issues are addressed and the service can be provided. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Sandeep ji. Very good question, and luckily your answer is already done through BSNL actually, and like bringing them together, ecosystem together, like TSP, ISP, vendors and all. And if government is not fully doing it, our forum BIF is doing it actually. So in BIF we have
One more point,
membership from
Gupta ji?
telcos. Yes, yes.
One more point. The last point on TSPs, I think one ISP rather had admitted, put it that way, that how can we provide Wi-Fi at home? He said that PM money plays a very, very important role to increase my revenues and to improve my reach, because by providing Wi-Fi at street, I will increase my customers later on for Wi-Fi at home.
Yes.
Because if people get the experience of Wi-Fi, then only they will buy Wi-Fi. Exactly. So therefore, that's the need of PM money here, which was very much acknowledged by an ISP. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, that is great, and that is what the BSNL example is exactly that. This BNU, what Vivek ji mentioned, is exactly that, and also they are bringing Gram Panchayat together there, and they are also making the VLE to invest little bit, what we call skin in the game. So this total ecosystem is now working, and what you are suggesting, I think, nothing new is required as far as government is concerned, according to me. So now we'll go to our last expert, Mr. Sumit Garg, Managing Director of Immunity Networks and Technologies Private Limited. Due to lack of time, we are unable to read your brief actually, but it is already exhibited. But question for you, Sumit ji, is as an entrepreneur, actually you are another part of the ecosystem here, the technology provider or app provider engaged in business of providing PM money based public Wi-Fi. What are the challenges you have faced in launching PM money and growth of public Wi-Fi in the country? How do you think government policies can help, and what are the additional efforts for the industry needs to put in to make public Wi-Fi a grand success? So public Wi-Fi was touted as Aam Aadmi's broadband, with cost of internet bandwidth being charged by class a ISP in the range of 4 lakhs, 8 lakhs per annum. I don't know what is this actually. That too upfront charge. Do you think that these kind of backhaul cost public Wi-Fi can remain an affordable and competitive service? If not, what needs to be done? Maybe this second question is a bit conflicting or controversial. Nobody is asking 4 to 8 lakhs from anybody actually. Mr. Vivek Dua is giving 50% subsidy actually on the bandwidth cost.
Well, that's great. Thank you. So I think Vivek sir has already taken care of a lot of these answers and a lot of this highlight about PM Wani. Sandeep ji has also thrown a good amount of light about it. And if you ask me personally, being an entrepreneur, I will have thousands of things and I can speak for hours except for the minutes given to me about the positives available in PM Wani. Yes. But certainly there are challenges as well, which probably I'll be highlighting at that part of it. Now let me start with the positives. I don't know how many educated people in this room know that giving public Wi-Fi at a cafe is illegal. We cannot give Wi-Fi on a display board. And in case if there is any issues which has happened, the person being arrested is the owner of that cafe or that hotel. I'll not name the hotel chain. A branded category A hotel, which I checked in, had handed me a username password without any credentials or authentication or accountability. The first biggest positive of PM Wani starts with accountability and authentication. Every user uses an OTP authentication, and we as technology providers maintain that on behalf of the central registry, and we make sure that cybersecurity compliance from any of the departments, from any of the enforcement agencies is offloaded from poor people like those shopkeepers, from the hotel chains, from the hospital owners, or any public Wi-Fi people, and it is taken off to an accountable person like a technology provider. The second part of the PM Wani is overall the ecosystem, which the government has done fantastic, 5-star, 100 on 100 job done to create the right ecosystem to start with. We had almost 100 plus, last I counted, of PDO aggregators. We had almost 4 to 5 technology players like me, like Immunity Networks, which were created to provide the technology and make sure that they equip the PDOs. They had the app providers in place to take care of the other proliferation aspects, monetization aspects, revenue aspects, and obviously the sign-up aspects. And then we had finally went to the market saying that let this be completely democratized and let the PDOs make money out of it. Now, this had a very, very, very nice intent in it, whereby the expectation was just the way we have the big guns, the big telecoms. I'll deviate a bit on this answer. How much money is required to start a telecom business? Let us say today you want to launch your own 5G service, 6G service. Probably the amount of money required will be a few thousand crores. If you want to start an ISP business, how much money is required to start an ISP business? Probably a few hundred crores. It depends on the scale you are operating it. But for PM Wani, the amount is zero. There is no recurring cost. There is nothing on that part. So definitely, the brain behind PM Wani had thought on a lot of aspects, and they had cut out on a lot of their revenues and a lot of their income sources when planning this scheme for the common man. Now, what is the problem with this? The problem with PM Wani is ownership. Today, we are expecting absolutely ground, bottom of the pyramid people to have resources which probably a person who is investing 100 crores or a person who is investing 1,000 crores to execute this business. It is just not possible. Monetization is possible in PM Wani, but at a scale. Today, by keeping up one hotspot, there is no sense in this service. There has to be a river. It cannot be a mug of water. It cannot be a bottle of water. It has to be a river, a continuous flow where anywhere a user, at least 70%, 80%, 90% of his daily life should be covered under the PM Wani's coverage zone. And unfortunately, no matter how much we have put, we have spent more than 3 years. I have personally spent more than 3.5 years, 100% dedicated towards this scheme. But it's an unfortunate fact that we have never seen this river being created at any of the places. And the day this happens to a sustainable level, the voucher sale will happen because there is a compelling reason for that to happen. Today, there is no compelling reason. I think a very good point by Sandeep ji's discussion was that the moment I have Wi-Fi on the street, my Wi-Fi in the house will start. It's basically the scale which we are talking about. And the same thing, I think TV sir had actually spoken about PM Money being the UPI of the telecom industry. Now tell me, will you as users use UPI if there are no vendors accepting UPI? So where are the vendors? Where are the service providers? Where is that continuous flow with roaming feature enabled for PM Money users to adopt it? And this is the first and the biggest challenge for this aspect of it. Secondly, obviously, there is a consumer behavior to happen. But we all have seen consumer behavior change. Nobody in this room, I can confidently bet any amount of money, or don't take me literally, nobody in this room would have taken a paid Wi-Fi subscription till date. So we are expecting a consumer behavior change. But that consumer behavior change will definitely be happening in case if we have a viable use case created, a service level created, and everywhere you go Wi-Fi service, one India, one nation Wi-Fi service. In that scenario, definitely a 99 rupees plan across India, wherever you go, you have a Wi-Fi service, will work. And the revenue distribution model exists, and I would be happy to show demonstration to anybody who wants to see how across 1000 PDOs, revenue can be divided of that 99 rupees. Based on the usage, based on the time, based on the data. So technology is certainly never a limitation for PM Money rollout. It is the ownership, it is behind the ownership, the funding which is required by the government. So today, thankfully, the government and the DOT and the TRAI have been kind enough to issue letters to create a minimum viable area. As Vivek sir pointed out, there are institutions who need to take the ownership, airports, hospitals, gram panchayats, and the letters which have been issued to them have created successful deployments. Today, almost every airport and every railway station has PM Money successfully working. So there are these positives. And obviously, there are the challenges where when, as an individual, as a village level entrepreneur, probably an Udyami or not sure, but let us say in case if a person wants to make a village Wi-Fi, create those 5 hotspots or 10 hotspots, there are serious challenges in getting that internet. That 4 lakh rupees or 8 lakh rupees is probably the annual cost of lease line which he has to incur when he's trying to get an internet line to his village. A simple 20 MB line as per the cheapest rate available from any of the service providers, private or government, is nothing less than few lakh rupees. So this is where actually there is a challenge where a common VLE is being expected to fund almost 6, 7, 8 lakh rupees to make a village Wi-Fi. Until date, we do not have a single case study that somebody made a village Wi-Fi and he recovered his money in 6 months. Or he recovered his money in 1 year, does not matter. But there is no reference case study. So really taking it to the field is a challenge. We have more than 7 lakh villages. We have uncountable dark spots in the urban areas. We just need the support and the minimum kickstart to happen, the ownership of some institutions to happen to make PM Money successful.
Oh, thank you, Sumit ji. Very, very good points. But one of your challenges already have been answered by Vivek ji. Like this BNU scheme actually can bridge that last mile, that river, what you are calling the internet lease line thing. They have a substitute for that in FTTH. The other telcos have a substitute in that which was discussed in morning, FWA. FWA, they say, is the only use case of 5G. And that actually provides a equivalence of what BNU are using, the FTTH. And if those are there, then 4 lakhs, 8 lakhs are not there. I was told the rate is only 10,000 rupees per month. Out of that, 50% subsidy is there. So it remains 5,000 rupees a month. That is where you can get what you are calling a pipe or a river. So I think if we make use of BNU scheme and if it is well advertised actually, maybe people don't know about this. That is why these 4 lakhs, 8 lakhs things are being talked about. There cannot be a business case without such subsidy or such subsidized cost. The difference here is it's a customer connection. Vis-a-vis a leased line. Actually, in the initial stage, yes, the operators were not giving the customer connection to a VLE who was PM Money aggregator actually. But now I think that restriction has gone through your BNU. That is what I assume. So with that, I think 4-8 lakhs thing is gone away, and this BNU model can be there. And the other operators who are not talking about this, they will come through FWA, because that is the only revenue stream for the private operator, FWA. So they have to sell a consumer connection. Even if he's using it as a backhaul for PM Money video, so they should not be worried. They are getting what they would have got by selling a SIM card of FWA. So that is what it looks very good. Now, I think the time is almost over. Maybe we will have to go by this question and answer, Brigadier Saab. And what is required, I think, will be guided by Sapna. What we do next.
Thank you very much indeed, sir.
Okay, this is good. So
we
as
can
they
take
have
one or
permitted
two
maybe
questions.
1 or 2 questions, or yeah, please, 2 are already there. So I think we'll not give opportunity to others. 2 are already there. Yeah.
Sir, I have a general questions. There are different public Wi-Fi technologies such as A, B, G, N and AC. So what is the basic difference between these Wi-Fi technologies?
Oh, no, these we cannot answer here. That is a very simple question actually. These are different standards actually. Earlier days ABC were there, then B came, now Halo came. There are 802.11 standards are there. So I think that is a different question. I think let's not waste time on that.
Okay.
But these are different standards of IEEE for the equipment, and they are growing, and now they have gone to AX actually. A to Z these have come. Almost. So for that, you better thing is you ask Chat GPT or go to Google.
Okay,
She
sir.
will answer better.
Then what is the difference between 802.11A and B?
Oh, same thing as I mentioned. A was never there. Actually, it started with B, in fact.
Oh.
So, but these are old questions. Actually, same answer. Actually, now there is a madam who we should give
First
priority
of all,
to.
thank you, sir, for the insightful discussion. Very basic thing. So we talk about the Udemy scheme and PM Money. As per my limited knowledge, they both are, the purpose is same.
No,
Fine.
what first thing you
Udemy
mentioned?
scheme, the BharatNet.
Oh, BNU.
Udemy, yeah.
BNU. I
Fine.
think Vivek ji will answer.
Yeah,
According
any
to
one
me,
of you,
both
sir.
have to coexist.
Yes.
For making a
coexist, so-
business case, BNU plus PM Money have to coexist.
Yes. So my question is, both of these schemes complement each other, or they are competitive in nature?
No,
Because-
complement each other,
Because
madam.
the other scheme from BharatNet, they are obviously giving the subsidy, where
Yes.
PM Money is not monetizing. That's why the weekend
Yes.
points are being seen here.
Yes.
So if both are complementing each other and working towards a common goal, so why 2 schemes are there by government, and how it can be complementing to make the things, I mean, complete
No,
in a
I think
faster manner?
Vivek,
No, I'll
you
answer.
You answer for
Thank
this.
you.
So the BNU is the champion, is the individual or the entrepreneur at the village level. Now what this BNU can do, there are 2 things. You can either run a public Wi-Fi called PM Vani. PM Vani is a technology platform which has security and other aspects that the gentleman explained. So this BNU, the champion, can run the PM Vani or the public Wi-Fi platform in the village, as well as run home Wi-Fi or FTTH to the home. So 2 set of business can be done by the BNU, which is backed up by the government of India to do that business with set of subsidies that are there on the public domain also. So you should appreciate, one is a champion or an entrepreneur doing 2 set of things. One you mentioned, second I added is the home FTTH. Okay.
Yeah, I think any last question from this side? I think someone is there. No? Okay, in that case, let me just sum it up as they mentioned my role. Summing up, it will not need much time. At least we started with the, subject of from dead zones to data streams through public Wi-Fi. I think it has been addressed quite lively actually through all the experts. Basically, the dead zones, and they are everywhere, not only in villages but also in urban. Like we are living in Delhi. As you know, Delhi has 300 villages actually. Delhi was city of villages actually, even now 300. There are a lot of dead zones are also there, but through Wi-Fi, through PM Ani scheme, through BNU, they will take the bandwidth there, FTTH, and then some local PM Ani VLE guy can create a hotspot. So that is how it can bridge the dead zone. So, and like that can be replicated everywhere. So lot of things we have come to know, and especially two things, and especially from our experts from US, Mr. Kadri. First of all, there is no security challenge in Wi-Fi. That is made very clear, and it is coming from the horse's mouth, the Intel, who are developing the technology. And he is telling that security depends not on the equipment. It depends on the application layer. What he was talking about, lock. The lock is nothing but application layer, authentication. There are what he was talking, wire equivalent protection, WEP. And our friend is there, Mr. Singh from WBA, they know all these things. And also you can do multi-factor authentication. Actually, what we do for bank transaction, you can do similarly for authentication of Wi-Fi also. So the only problem is if you don't use password at all, you make it a free thing, then yes, you are taking the risk. But otherwise it can provide, that is a great learning in this session actually. And then BNU is a great invention actually and great thing. Only thing is it has to be popularized. I think we at VIF should take this challenge or this responsibility to popularize this, that how the combination of BNU and PM Ani can make a business case. And you don't have to give any money actually upfront. You have to give only a bandwidth charges, that also at the 50% of the subsidy. So there is no risk, no loss, and making use of Gram Panchayat. And I also think, Vivek ji, can we use Narega scheme also here? Because in villages, a lot of money is there in Narega. Can we use that or not allowed? Okay, that our friend Parmeshwaran ji is from that side. He has also been regulator. So you have clarified my thing. Okay. Oh, I thought we can, our VLE is also doing labor. Yeah. Our VLE is also doing labor. Yeah. Yeah. So, but, yeah. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Saab. I think more than that, I have nothing to add unless any of the experts want to add on this. Otherwise, I will like to thank all of you sitting here. The house full after tea break is very rare in Delhi. But I'm really thankful to you, and I hope you learned something, as I have learned a lot from the experts panel. And I will really thank the organizer to giving me this opportunity, not only to coordinate this, but to also learn from the close quarters and like horse's mouth of Vivek Duaji. Thank you. Sapna.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed, sir.
Yeah,
I would request our session chair
I
and
must
moderator.
appreciate the point that he has mentioned, and I am also acknowledging by the conversations happening by the Rural Development Ministry and the Panchayati Raj that people still do not appreciate the benefits of a digital economy. I'm taking his point. If he says the Manrega scheme, can something happen to the BNU or the rural digital connectivity? Let us say, because the daily upkeep of the digital infrastructure at the rural level is also a labor. And if somebody starts appreciating that I can pay 500 rupee for a good upkeep of the digital infrastructure, things would change. So I think if you can appreciate the point, others in the hierarchy can also. The idea is great.
Yes. We have to find.
No, because everybody was laughing at the point he mentioned. So I thought he has given a crazy but a great idea, which can be worked upon.
Yeah. Yes.
Chair and moderator, Dr. Gupta, to kindly do the honors of presenting mementos on behalf of the organizers to our eminent panelists. We present to Mr. Vivek Dua, General Manager Corporate Office, BSNL. Thank you very much indeed, sir. We present to Mr. Sumit Garg, Managing Director, Immunity Networks and Technologies Private Limited, and to Mr. Sandeep Khathuria, Senior Consultant, BIF. And may I also invite on stage Mr. Debashish Bhattacharya, Senior DDG BIF, first to join our eminent panelists for a group photograph and then for the closing remarks and the vote of thanks. Also inviting Brigadier Tandon sir to kindly join us for the group photograph. Thank you, gentlemen. And I now hand over to Mr. Debashish Bhattacharya for the vote of thanks and the wrap-up remarks.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I stand between you and going home, so I'll make it quick and short. I'm not sure what. So let me start off. I think before I get to the official vote of thanks and this thing, I'd like to just point out one thing from Mr. Dua's remark on bringing in the Ministry of Rural Development. There is, we are seeing some green shoots of PM Vani going into other areas other than telecom. And one experiment that has started, which we heard from Secretary Ministry of Rural Development recently, about 3 months back, is the Begusarai experiment, which has started in a community Wi-Fi, community scheme, which is called some ladies thing, self-help group, run by ladies, by women in the rural areas. So this, I think, it's the first trial of its kind in the self-help groups. And if this takes off, I think it is initiated jointly by Ministry of Rural Development and Department of Telecom together. If this takes off, I think this could lead to, I am told, that there are some 1,000 odd self-help groups in the country. And it could spur PM Vani to another level. So far, PM Vani has been restricted that we are only touching the urban, semi-urban areas, and it somehow it is lagging behind. It's still not taken off, limping, I should say. But if this project takes off, which is just started 3 months back, I think this could be a great thing for the country. But let's wait and see. So just wanted to add my 2 bits to the discussion. Correct.
I mean, once they are enabling the self-help groups with the good fiber or the data connectivity, a lot of things that they were doing manually and the proliferation was really not the desired level. After this Begusarai experiment, the things have really exploded.
Good.
So seeing the benefit definitely across all 7,000 plus blocks, they're going to replicate.
Excellent. I think we were told by Secretary that if this takes off, we will implement it in other blocks also. So let's see. I think the future looks bright for PM Vani. So I'd like to sort of end this session in a happy note and a forward looking in a positive note. So I think there is optimism at the end of the day. Let me now have the pleasure and privilege and honor to give the vote of thanks. We have had a long day. We have talked about, first of all, greetings to all who have participated in today's event to celebrate the World Wi-Fi Day. It's a great occasion. 2024, we are proud in BIF that we had the honor to do this, and we look forward to doing it every year going forward, and that will be our goal, because one of our key thrust areas is public Wi-Fi, apart from a few others. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank each and every speaker, each and every delegate, each and every participant, each and every member who has contributed to today's program in every aspect. And to begin with, I would also like to start by thanking besides the people who joined the inaugural session, including our chief guest, Professor Abhay Karandikar, Secretary, Department of Science and Technology, Shri S.K. Marwaha, Scientist G and Group Coordinator, Ministry of Electronics and IT, and Mr. Robert Ravi, DDG, Standard Research and Innovation, DOT, and Mr. Sanjeev Kumar Sharma, DDG in DOT, and all the other speakers who spoke at the inaugural session. I'd also like to take this occasion to thank all the panelists, including, we had 3 very, very interesting panel discussions. First on enablers for Wi-Fi proliferation in India. The second on 5G and Wi-Fi convergence for seamless connectivity. And the third, which we have just heard, is a very, very interesting conversation, which was on from dead zones to data streams through public Wi-Fi, particularly on the role of PM WANI. So thank you to all the keynote address speakers, to all the session chairs, thank you to all the moderators, and thank you profusely to all the panelists. While doing the vote of thanks, it will be incomplete on my part not to include our sponsors for whom we have, without whom we wouldn't have probably been able to put together today's program. So I profusely thank our principal partner, Messrs. Meta. I thank Hiral for coming all the way from the US to take his time out to be with us today morning. I also thank CMAB, who has woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning to be able to attend our program. Thank you, CMAB. I also wish to take this opportunity to thank our other partners, the platinum partner, ACT Broadband. We want to also thank our silver partner, Qualcomm, and thank you, Puneet. To ACT, I would like to thank Mr. Praveen Nehru, as well as Mr. Sarath Kumar. Thank you so much, sir. Last but not the least, I'd like to thank our media partners, Communications Today, as well as our event partner, Bharat Exhibitions, to Mr. Shashidharan, without whom we would not have been able to conduct this program and do it successfully as we have done today. So with these few words, I would like to wish you all a pleasant evening, and thank you very much for coming here and being a part of this excellent celebration to celebrate the World Wi-Fi Day 2024. Thank you and Jai Hind. Bye. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir, for reminding. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We convey our gratitude to each one of you, especially all our participants who stayed with us till the end for making this event, this celebration of World Wi-Fi Day, so successful. Once again, wishing all of you very best for the World Wi-Fi Day, and please join us for a cup of tea before you leave the venue. Have a wonderful evening ahead. Safe drive home. Good evening and namaskar.